Hello traders. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I could be wrong about the SPY or stocks in general, why we could go higher, and what is pointing me to this conclusion. All right, so I'm going to jump straight over to the SPY. Let me move myself over here so I'm kind of out of the way. That's pretty good. Okay, so right now I have all three of my targets. You guys have heard me talk about these targets for 2 years, and we have reached, as I said in the last video slash post, target number 3. Now I have a little bit of a hook here, thinking that we could pull back potentially to 609, 610 area, basically that 200-day simple moving average, if not lower, before heading further up. But I'm going to say I could be wrong about that as well. And it's looking like we potentially could go even higher. So I'm going to take all of these markings off the chart now so that we can see one thing and one thing only, and that is my indicator. All right, let me zoom out or zoom in just a little bit here. I'm going to go all the way back. This is good. All right, so as you know, my indicator puts out sell or buy signals pending whether it thinks we're oversold or overbought. And in this case, we'll start here in August of 2023. I'm going to get out an arrow so you can see exactly where I'm looking. All right, we got a sell signal. All right, we've got a lot of sell signals here. I ignore these sell signals unless they show up in one of these liquidity blocks. So in August of 23, we got a sell signal. And if you would have sold there or shorted, you could have profited. Now, I'm not going to do the calculations in this video. The point of this video is just to show how accurate this is and why I could be wrong about our top here. All right, we got a buy signal here, and you would have bought there. Now, you would have remained in your position until you were stopped out. If that was, I don't know, maybe you do the 7% rule and you stop out with a 7% loss, but you would have had another chance to buy down here, right around the 300-day moving average, or 350-day, excuse me. That's this orange line. Okay, you could have bought here. There is a small liquidity block right around that 350-day moving average, and you would have held, again, ignoring these sell side signals because they are not coming inside of a liquidity block. All right, until up here, you can see barely there is a small liquidity block there. So you could have sold there and waited for your buy signal again. We received a buy signal from my dots and blocks indicator here. You could have bought that inside of that liquidity block, again, ignoring these sell signals until you find one inside of a liquidity block. Notice how this second sell signal comes inside of a liquidity block, and that is just under my target number 1. That is why I sold there, guys. That is why I sold there, not because we were close to my target number 1, but because I received a sell signal from my indicator inside a liquidity block. So I sold there. I did not go short. I just waited until we received a buy signal. Received that buy signal inside this liquidity block here in August of 2024, where I bought back in. Again, I proceeded to hold, ignoring all of these sell signals until I find one inside a liquidity block. All right. And in this case, there was a sell signal inside a liquidity block. You could have sold here, but you also received a second chance to sell here. All right. And you would have remained in cash, sitting on your hands until you receive a buy signal. There is a buy signal here. That is not inside a liquidity block. So you would have continued sitting in cash. And now notice down here, my indicator flashes a buy inside this liquidity block. See how accurate this indicator is, guys? All right, so once again, could have held. Now, I may have made a mistake. We reached target number 3, and I did not ignore this sell signal. All right, now, sure, we had a big drop, but the drop, we're right back up inside of where I sold around 670. Somewhere in there is where I sold, guys. But now looking back at how accurate this indicator is, and again, I'm still new at this, guys. I've been testing this out for a year, and I'm still somewhat in disbelief at how accurate the indicator is. But seeing that there is no liquidity block here as of yet, there might be one that's printed here in a few days if we continue to go sideways or make some sort of high volume move. I noticed that most of these liquidity blocks are printed when you see, now I can't get an arrow here. Well, I can. The very bottom indicator I have here is indicative of high volume. All right. So these liquidity blocks tend to be printed when we have a lot of volume. And so we still have not seen that yet on the SPY. And I bring this to your attention because we, we're starting to see a lot of volume, but we're just kind of going sideways. People are just trading back and forth, and we're just moving sideways. So eventually we could see a sell side liquidity block. And in this case, uh, it would prove I did make the right move. But right now I'm sitting in cash and a little bit nervous because I see how accurate this indicator is, and it suggests that we could go higher. All right, so I wanted to bring this to your attention in this video uh, to show two things. Number one, the potential to move higher is definitely still there. And number two, I really just wanted to give you another firsthand look at how accurate this indicator is, and trying to understand how I can get it into your hands is something I'm working through right now. But stay tuned, and if you have suggestions, I welcome all those in the feedback, in the comments section, etc., etc. Let me know. We'll talk to you in the next video, guys. Peace.